having something to contribute, it brings us tremendous value. It's not only about the money or the paycheck. You know, we want really to make an impact wherever we are.
Raquel, why are you so passionate about being a voice for millennials today?
Well, firstly, as a millennial myself, working in corporate for over 10 years, I personally have faced some of the stereotypes, the comments, oftentimes not so positive about millennial workers. I've heard feedback from my coworkers, even from some managers, about how lazy, entitled we are, you know, how we feel like we know everything. Yet, a lot of times there are missed opportunities where managers really can get to know us, you know, collaborate with us, how it is that we can assist in collaborating together for the greater good of the companies we work for. So I believe that with my own personal story and speaking with coworkers and even millennials outside of the workplace that I have been in, I believe that I can definitely speak up and speak to those experiences and definitely advocate and educate society in general about the value and the benefits of having our generation being brought up in a time such as this.
Thank you. Yes, I mean, this is really important right now because millennials, correct me if I'm wrong about the statistic, but by the year 2025, 75% of the workforce will be of millennial age?
Yes, very true. There is a study that Forbes published, and yes, 75%, that's a high number. So just imagine a few short years from now, 75% of the workplace will be filled with millennials. So that is a big number. So therefore, you know, there's a shift that's happening, and if we're constantly being treated the way we are, and I will use that word treated because it's not always positive, then I don't know what the future would look like for companies. And again, there is a missed opportunity where companies really need to start zooming in on how can your millennial employee help you to continue to grow, to spread your mission, you know, to increase productivity, profits, all that good stuff. It's highly important, and that's why I'm here.
Yes, and when you talk about productivity, for one thing, something like, I don't know, 500 or 600, something in the 500 to 600 billion dollars a year is lost to companies when it comes to turnover, meaning the cost of turnover of workers leaving and finding another job is costing U.S. companies greatly every year.
Yes, the research speaks a lot to that, and you know, there's other factors, but one of the popular factors why, even in the context of millennials, you know, leaving, the turnover rate being so high, I believe it's every year and a half or 2 years. You know, it's really because of work culture. It's the environment, it's the leaders, the managers, even some co-workers too. A lot of people leave millennial employees just because they don't feel like they're appreciated, they don't feel like they're respected or they're valued. And in addition to a toxic work environment, they don't feel like they can add to, you know, the greater vision of the company. So they leave, they seek out other opportunities elsewhere.
So your view is that millennial workers are A, misunderstood, and B, are sort of a great opportunity for these for companies, provided that they are treated with respect, treated well.
Yes, definitely. And you know, there's this stereotype, I would use that word again, to say that, you know, we feel entitled, we want things to be spoon-fed to us. I would disagree. I know I can't say in generalization that all millennials are this type of way. However, for most of us, and in my experience, we want to collaborate. We want to work from the ground up. We want to be mentored. We want to be coached. We want constant feedback. You know, we need that engagement to thrive, because if we don't get that, and I don't want to put too much onus on leadership, however, if you understand that key ingredient, you can get a lot out of your millennial worker, where they feel as if, yes, I'm in a position where I can learn from my superiors, and they can help me to develop not only personally, but on a professional level as well.
Yeah, I think hearing you speak about mentorship and about feedback and about that kind of support is really telling and powerful. How do you feel about transparency?
Huge, huge. And I know that there is not everything that companies, leaders, managers can say to a worker. However, transparency as much as possible is key, because it really gives us reasons as millennials to work towards that goal, that specific goal or outcomes, towards the greater vision and mission of the company. We want to collaborate, we want to engage, we want to be a part of that process. There's something about the process and the community that is built out of, having something to contribute. It brings us tremendous value. It's not only about the money or the paycheck. We want really to make an impact wherever we are.
Raquel, do you think that millennials are more suspicious of the corporate construct than, say, maybe the baby boomers were?
Definitely. I think a big thing, and I can speak for me and also for other millennials that I've spoken with about this, is, we've seen our parents, relatives, family, friends, sort of gotten like the short end of the stick, over the decades. And we want change. And when we say change, we want specific change. We want to feel as if we are not only contributing, but also the companies we work in, that they have our backs as well. Oftentimes, it's more about numbers and productivity, even though that's important. But at the same time, for a millennial worker, we don't want to be, we don't want to feel as if we're on like a treadmill, going down the assembly line, and we're just robots. We want to feel as if we're humans. We are humans. But oftentimes, in my experience and, talking with other millennial coworkers, that's how we feel, like we're robots, and we're being told what to do instead of really having that opportunity to really, from management and leadership, asking us, what do you want to, and what are your thoughts on this? Let us also give you feedback, and definitely consider those feedback as well.
Raquel, what should companies know about millennials?
The biggest thing companies should know about millennials is that we really value community. Just like your family, whether it's traditional or non-traditional, we want to be a part of something. And that's the biggest thing. And I say biggest because we don't want to feel like we're excluded out of decision makings, even though we do understand that there are certain hierarchies and there's structure. Structure is good, it's necessary. However, we want to be a part of the goals, the outcomes, the projected outcomes of the companies that we work in. And I think there's so much missed opportunities. I have to go back to that because, we were brought up in a time where, we dominate technology. We can figure things out just like that, I mean, yes, the internet is there, but we're critical thinkers. We learn quickly. We can adjust, we can conform, we can change, just like that chameleon. I use the chameleon effect a lot when I speak, where, we can adapt and we can change, to situations. And the technology is definitely helped us in that regard. However, I think that corporations and leaders definitely can utilize our strengths because we have more strengths than the negative comments or this idea that, that's negative that a lot of leaders have for us.
Yes, thank you for that. So Raquel, how will this impact the growth and the profits of companies?
It will impact it hugely because when you collaborate with us, when you engage us, when you give us specific reasons, going back to transparency, why it is that we are working towards this goal, what are the benefits, it definitely will have your workers, your millennial workers, get excited to get up in the morning, come to work, be enthused about the work, be enthused about the goals that we have to meet, and it will definitely increase productivity. The last thing you want to do is have millennials feeling as if they're not contributing, they're not respected, they're not being heard, and they're just only being told what to do and when to do it and how to do it. The last thing you want is a millennial worker to start slacking off at work, engaging in high call-outs. All of those things are going to negatively impact your productivity and your bottom line. And so if you start paying more attention to millennials and seeking out what it is, really trying to understand what it is, how it is that I can help this millennial worker to thrive through coaching, through feedback, through engagement, through community, all those things, you will see that over time, productivity will increase and you will have more enthusiastic workers.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.